Another day, another reset. Yesterday's reset triggered a few new events in the game. We'll get into that. Also talking about Mike Ybarra's comment about WoW needing to be reset. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. And a few other things. 12.0.7 just around the corner. We already got stuff to talk about with that one. So let's just jump straight in here. A few changes going live with the reset. Obviously, more class fixes. I mean, that's just the theme of this patch here. So we got fixes for Restoration Druid. They fixed an issue where Blooming Infusion was counting each target as a Nature's Bounty or Rampant Growth as an additional cast. They also fixed an issue with Frost Mage, causing some spells to be incorrectly locked during party sync. And then finally fixed an issue with Affliction Warlocks, where Abyssal Emulator 4-piece set bonus would not correctly increase initial stack count of Agony by 2, and an issue where Unstable Affliction, or I should say, Affliction applied through Fatal Echoes would consume Shard Instability. All right, yeah, glad for the Affliction Warlocks out there getting that stuff fixed. Some decor dual bug fixes also went into it. We talked about this yesterday. Another minute added to the Algathar Academy runtime, so it's 31 minutes now on that timer. Myasara Cavern saw a damage reduction to coordinated assault damage. And a March on Quelled and Us. They fixed an issue where druids were causing druids to become untargetable after entering the Darkwell while shapeshifting. So yeah, there you go. Druids now targetable once again. So what else happened with this reset? Well, now we got the World Quest bonus event. That's right, Reputation lovers rejoice. So the World Quest bonus event is now live, meaning you can get now bonus reputation towards any reps, including all reps right now in the game. So that means renown tracks and everything else can be boosted a little bit this week. Normally off of World Quest, you'd get about 75 reputation. With the Reputation World Quest event now live, you'll get about 112.5 from those World Quests. And if you use a contract on those, you get 135. So yeah, big boost. We're talking about almost double compared to what you usually get if you're using a contract as well. So a nice time to boost up some of those Renown tracks for anybody who's a bit behind on Renown right now. Also, we unlocked the new Ritual Site challenge. That's right, it has been moved. So your Ritual Site has been moved after reset to Zul'Aman now. We got the Broken Throne in Zul'Aman. That is the new Ritual Site here. We can also use all the challenges that you previously unlocked, all the little, as we call them, affixes ready. So those things can be used on your new runs. Get those things done. You can also get a bunch of new achievements that weren't previously available now that it has been moved. So we got the new Zul'Aman Broken Throne theme. There's a couple of kind of nerfs to unlocking these. So previously, whatever nerf or whatever required like a tier 3 ritual site to unlock in terms of challenges has been dropped now to a tier 2. If it was tier 2, now it's tier 1. Blizzard does this kind of to nerf the challenges required to actually unlock these things. Yesterday, we did a tier 5 with all the challenges active at once, all 8. So some Giga Chat content. Yeah, that's what I do. But that was fun to do for sure. Crystal, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much, and welcome to our Scourge. Yeah, so we got that done, got all the achievements. It was pretty fun. I think ritual sites are actually the most fun thing that was added in this patch cycle, besides all the broken content, obviously. I think these have been fun for the most part, and more fun to do in a group. If you haven't done them in a group yet, I would tell you go do them in a group. They're pretty casual content if you're doing them in a group. And obviously they can give you that 269 item level, which I'm about to open in my vault today, so that should be a good one. Speaking of items and item level, it's time to get your 4-piece if you haven't already. I don't know who hasn't gotten their 4-piece at this point, but yeah, it's officially the default unlock. Right now, the 4th time around for the Catalyst charges, so everybody in the game should officially have their 4-piece after this. Many of you already have had more than 4 Catalyst charges because of the Midnight Season 1 Champion of the Dawn achievement, which is if you had the 4 set unlocked, it essentially gave you more bonus rolls. Right, so everybody was using those Catalyst charges, getting tier set from the raid and everything else. And once you got your 4 set, you have a chance to loot, basically, more charges for the Catalyst. So if you don't have all heroic gear yet, don't worry. I would suggest using your Catalyst charges to at least get the 4 set. This way you unlock this this little achievement here, and you can get more Catalyst charges as you get heroic gear anyways. Just from killing bosses and shit, there's always a chance they could drop. So that's a little tip there, just the tip from Samiccus. Moving on to this one, a pretty cool little update here from Blizzard, where they released a nice video of Silvermoon and its rebuild. So they released an entire video about the kind of rebuild of Silvermoon, how that whole process went, what went into it. It wasn't just a revamp. They did rebuild Silvermoon from the ground up, and I got to give Blizzard credit, honestly. I think they did a freaking fantastic job. I think Silvermoon's one of the best hub cities we've had in quite a while. I enjoy being there. I enjoy the music, the aesthetic, and everything else. And like I said, it wasn't just a revamp. It was almost like a reimagining, a proper Silvermoon. This thing is glorious. I think they did an amazing job with it. And a cool video here about kind of how they did the development, how they went into, you know, making decisions on what to keep the same, what to change. And then obviously creating a hub city for the first time, really, where it's a cross-faction city, but certain areas will only allow the Horde in without a specific alliance-locked area. We've had specific cities like Dalaran where you got a Horde section, an alliance section, but this city has a Horde-only section and then a cross-faction area. So pretty cool stuff. I've said it before. I hope they give this same treatment to something like a rebuild of Lordaeron. I wish they would do that. Or even, I've talked about recently a rebuild of Gilneas. You know, working on something like that, I think would be amazing. Just the way that they redid Silvermoon, I think gives me a lot of confidence in their ability to rebuild older places in the game. Really cool video if you haven't checked it out already. I'll link this in the chat and down below the video as well if you guys want to check this one out. Moving on to this one, DPS rankings. We've talked about DPS rankings, honestly, out the ass at this point. I've kind of, you know, beat that drum and gotten enough fucking views off of YouTube for it at this point, but this is a cool way to look at it. So this chart right here is a different way of looking at DPS rankings. Essentially what it's showing us is Mythic raid DPS versus the number of parses, which means like the popularity of the class. So the further down the line it goes right here, the higher their DPS output has been, and the higher up they go, the more popular the class has been. So the most popular / you know, best DPSer right now is Devour Demon Hunter. No surprise there, right? This is essentially, you know, the new spec. Everyone's trying it. It's obviously a good one as the new spec in the game right now. Parsing real freaking hard, and a lot of people are doing it. The most popular class in the game right now, though, is Frost Mage. That's right, Frost Mage has taken the cake as the most popular. At least this is Mythic rating. So in Mythic raid, it is the most popular class. We know Retribution Paladin typically is the most played spec in the game, but they might not all be raiding, right? So they might just be retributing themselves all over the forests of Lordaeron for all we know right now. But they are currently, Frost Mage is currently sitting as the most popular class when it comes to Mythic rating. Demonology Warlock doing pretty good as well in popularity and DPS. This one right here is surprising. Survival Demon. People don't like to be a melee hunter, I guess. Survival Hunter. Sitting down here as one of the least popular classes, but sitting with a very high DPS output. So anybody out there who wants to try a new class, but maybe you don't want to join like the meta of, you know, just playing another Devour Demon Hunter, scantily clad elf or something, you could try being a Survival Hunter. Try out the new melee version of being a hunter. They're pumping right now. They're putting out good numbers, and evidently not a lot of people are playing them. No surprise here, Augmentation Evoker is doing really well this patch, but not that many people play the Scaly boys. You know, you got to have a sexual fetish for the Scalies to be able to play this class properly. That's a fact. That's not just an opinion. And not a lot of people do, so it's not a very highly played class. Looking down the line here, this one's interesting. Unholy DK. Unholy is actually really good right now, Mythic Plus. In terms of rating, it's not bad. But it's certainly not one of the best right now, but it's still one of the most popular classes in the game right now. So Unholy sitting here of high popularity, but, you know, kind of mid DPS when it comes to raid. So that's an interesting one. And then sitting at the bottom, I mean, just absolutely hurting right now. Arcane Mage sitting down here, one of the worst DPSers in the game and one of the least played specs, actually not one of, it is actually the least played spec in the game when it comes to rating, at least. Yeah, I know I have some mage buddies. I don't know anybody who's playing Arcane right now. Man, it's tough. What's going on, DJ? It's real tough out there, and I haven't seen really an Arcane mage probably this entire expansion. It's not that people don't like it. It's always they want more ranged, so why would they play a melee? This is true, Uncle Jemima. You make a good point in chat there that, yeah, melee right now in terms of rating, it's a minimalist kind of thing. I mean, we saw the Race to World First where they essentially brought 3 melee DPS in the entire raid and the rest was range. So this raid right now certainly does favor range DPS. That's kind of typical, honestly. So yeah, you're seeing ranged become a more popular spec. You get Devour here. They're in like a mid-level range. They're not really ranged. And then, yeah, Survival, I guess, yeah, would be the highest ranking in terms of DPS, melee DPSer for raid. So that's a good point, that I hadn't considered there. Yeah, well, this is the chart anyways. Interesting stuff. Take what you want from it. But let's move on here. As an interesting thing was said by former Blizzard president Mike Ybarra. He tweeted out in response to kind of all the bugs that have come out in 12.0.5, and this was his response here. He says, unfortunate, WoW has to reset, and the commitment has to be clear and firm, or it will continue to decline. WoW has to reset. Interesting comment coming from Mike Ybarra, who once said that the QA, or the quality assessment team, should not be a place where people go for a long-term career path. So, yeah, he didn't seem to think the quality assessment team was a huge deal back when he was there. And actually, when he left Blizzard, the quality assessment team, we saw 1,900 jobs across Blizzard were cut. Many of them were part of the quality team, and we're kind of seeing the repercussions of doing that. They probably thought AI could test this shit, and it turns out, like many things with AI, false promises were made that couldn't be fulfilled. So this one right here, unfortunate, as he said. I don't know what he means necessarily by reset, if they're resetting their commitment to WoW or resetting the game. Because we know, this has been brought up before, the spaghetti code of WoW, right? A game that's been around and rebuilt on and iterated on for 20 years, 20 plus years now. There's issues with changing up code that old and that intricate and that interconnected. We've seen times where they change something on one side of the game and the other side of the game completely collapses. Something you would think that's completely unrelated suddenly is bugged the hell out. So, Mike's comment here that, Blizzard needs, or WoW needs to be reset. I'm not, like I said, I'm not exactly sure if he means like, hey, bringing a WoW Classic and just ending the retail version of the game, where basically you have a reset version of retail. I'm not sure. People have talked about that previously, but whether he meant that or not, I guess it's TBD. It's just a freaking short tweet. As far as quality assurance goes, people all agree, quality assurance is not an optional thing here. When a broken system keeps shipping anyway, the conversation stops being about a single bad patch and starts becoming whether or not Blizzard can keep their word. When they made their promise, no corners will be cut, no compromises in terms of what we're delivering, and no sacrifices of quality. That's not really what we got in 12.0.5, and that's not wrong. I know they're trying. I don't think Blizzard's shipping broken products on purpose. I don't think that's their intent. I don't think they want to deal with the fucking headaches of having to figure out how to fix shit. That's always harder than just getting it right the first time. But I don't know if they're capable of testing these patches to a level that really just catches every bug that needs to be caught. We saw with the whole Void Core bug, with the extra roles, that it turns out that the test servers just don't have the number of, saving data centers that the same live servers do. They only have one. So when the data was saved, it was only saving to one center. So that was fine. But when it went to the live game, it was being thrown around to different ones, and they couldn't keep track of it. So the actual rolls were not being tracked of, so you could roll on an item for a second time. So that's a problem. Basically, you got quality issues across the board, and I'm not sure Blizzard is able to address that yet. We'll see what they do going forward, because 12.0.7 is just around the corner, guys. That's right, 12.0.7 has reached a new internal testing build. So now Blizzard is internally testing this build. What are we getting with 12.0.7? Well, we already know we're getting a new story and quest. So the story of Midnight is going to advance at 12.0.7. Our Void Assaults right now are going to be escalated, supposedly. So we're going to get, the Void Assaults are not going away in 12.0.7, but I guess we're getting a new rendition of them. Maybe that means we're going to get more ritual site stuff here. Void Assaults themselves are the Void questy things, and then the big bosses that we see throughout Eversong Woods and Zul'Aman right now. So those things, I guess, will continue to, as they said, escalate. Maybe we'll get better loot out of them and stuff too. And then the new raid, We know we're getting the new Sporefall raid. This is going to be a big one because it's going to be the first Mythic Flex raid where you'll be able to actually create raid groups that are, you know, bigger or smaller, 15 man up to 25, I think they said, or 20. So that gives you a decent range now of being able to kind of flex what a Mythic raid can actually be. This is going to be the first time they do that. It's a one-man boss, a Sporefall raid. Should be fun. And then Turbulent Time Waste also goes live in 12.0.7. Now remember, we're supposed to get this patch in spring, so it's expected we could be getting this thing in June, which feels fast, man. These patches are coming quick. I don't know if they should slow down and test these things more before they drop them, but this cadence continues forward. Hopefully this patch doesn't drop as a broken version as bad as 12.0.5 was. Is there a date for the new patch? No. As I said, just a spring release time. Has to be before the summer officially starts. You got your summer solstice. Your summer typically is, I think June 21st or 22nd is like the start of summer officially on the calendar. So it had to be before that. So we could expect like an early to mid-June release if they're going to hit this calendar correctly. So yeah, like I said, that's faster than, it's pretty damn fast. June is summer. Yeah, mid-June to late June is when summer officially kicks off. Yeah, surprise. So we'll see what happens going forward. But yeah, 12.0.7 advancing on the testing timeline. And then finally, speaking of timelines, my God, it's been 10 years since World of Warcraft the movie released. I can't believe this. I swear to God, it's time warped. I feel like time is time warped in real life. How has it been 10 years already since the Warcraft movie came out? I feel like just the other day, me and my friends went and watched this thing when it came out in the theaters. But yeah, we got a 10th anniversary release of this thing. To celebrate the anniversary, Universal will be releasing a limited edition steelbook that contains a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and digital version of the beloved film. This case itself is like a collector's edition thing. It's got the WoW. It's got the Azeroth map on here, pretty cool, as well as the Alliance and Horde logos. This is a metal case again, so it's like one of those tin ones. Pretty cool, and then you got the double disc version here. Obviously, with all the deleted scenes and everything else. Yeah, the Warcraft movie, I think, could have been great. I just think they tried to tell too much of a story back and forth. There's a lot of snapping between the Horde and the Alliance, the Orc story, the human story. I think if they had stuck to something like an Arthas Lich King story, that thing would have been a universal, story that people could understand. People would have loved the fall of a prince, right? Trying to do the right thing, falls to darkness. In general, I think that would have been a better story to tell via film than what we did end up getting. I don't think the Warcraft movie was bad. I just think, like, outside of the World of Warcraft audience or the Warcraft audience in general, this was a bit of a hard movie for people to follow. But there it is, the collector's edition, everything else coming out. I'm not sure how much it'll be, but it's now available for pre-order if you want to do that, coming out on June 16th officially. And for today, that is all in terms of news.